Thank you so much to Molly and Kumar. Thank you for sharing your experiences and your knowledge. Yesterday, we talked about challenging our thoughts and thinking about how we needed to change, and could we and should we. And I think you've beautifully articulated, both of you, how you've responded to those challenges and how you have changed going through. So thank you very much indeed. Could we have the lights and the microphones? And if you do have a question, I've got one straight here, if we could have a microphone, please. So we've got microphone 6, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kerry Waters, Farm Adaptation Network. Kumar, you've been a constant inspiration to my work. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without you, Molly, and Rebecca at Stockfree. I think you're right. I've had many conversations with farmers about the day of slaughter and the internal struggle that goes on, and I think it's not talked about enough. What advice would you give to farmers who are encountering that struggle?
Do you want to go or shall I? I would say that I guess that the struggle can really vary in terms of severity, from being unbearable and, you know, severely impacting people's well-being, to just being, I guess, a hard day that once it's over, it's done. I would say a lot of farmers feel stuck in a system that doesn't bring them as much happiness as it should do. I think owning land and managing land is a privilege, and I think if people are feeling that they're not enjoying that, to be able to see case studies of other farmers, to be able to accept that there are opportunities for change, and then reach out to organisations that can help support them to just consider alternatives and see if any of those alternatives might better suit them.
I think there's that quote, isn't there? You can't be what you can't see. And so actually, you know, having both of you here today sharing your stories and the rest of the sessions, you know, gives inspiration to others as well. Thank you for your question. I'll come to 3 in a moment, but just on the app, we've got some questions coming in. So what advice do you have for those seeking to establish a small farm, and what are the barriers? Kumar.
I mean, from my point of view, I mean, I farm 6 acres and it's just one person job. Molly does most of the crop planning, and she lives in Wales, and when there is sowing to be done, she comes and helps me. Harvesting, she helps me. Otherwise, it's just one person's job, and I run the food business by myself. It's a lot of physical work, but there are barriers. I think I look at it very positively, and I focus myself, and I love what I'm doing. That's important. And then from my side, I do it myself and I'm comfortable. So there are barriers, but it's just how you feel with what you're doing and focusing. I mean, that's key. I mean, I do it myself, the whole thing, and I'm proud of that. Yeah.
You maybe should have been at the debate last night, Kumar. And Molly, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would definitely say obtaining land is a massive barrier for people who aren't inheriting land or don't necessarily have the capital to buy it. Living on the land on small farms is also incredibly difficult in this country. But like Dad said, I think where there's a will, there's a way. Exactly. Staying focused is very important, and Dad makes it sound like he's really, really good at that, but I'm basically on the phone to him every day nagging him. So have someone who really nags you. That's another thing I would say.
I get a very big list. Dad, do that, do this. And now I got to take a picture and then send it to her that the job is done.
Yeah, I now require evidence.
Thank you.
So I think Molly's help is a lot for me.
Microphone 3, please.
Yeah, thank you. I put wow, Molly, wow, Kumar, incredible, and how incredibly proud you must be to sit alongside each other here today. Kumar, you found Harriet at Y College. I'm
Yes.
proudly wearing my Y College tie today.
Oh, wonderful.
I found my wife Hazel there. Her parents also met there. I know it was a college of education, but also a bit of a marriage bureau too.
Absolutely.
But and then when we got married in 2001, our honeymoon was supposed to be in Sri Lanka,
Wow.
but the Tamil Tigers stopped that. They launched a rocket across the airport, so we never did get there. But my question, you mentioned your words, it was difficult to work with Dad, and Molly's words, she said, my brilliant father. So I just wondered if you could share a little bit more about some of your insights, because families working together, it's not easy. You're clearly doing something right. Can you share a little bit more about some of how that was with your father and how you are
I think,
clearly...
Yeah, thank you. I think with Dad had very old way of looking at, mainly on the printing side, and he just had the old printing machines and typesetting, and printing was advancing at that time. So I have to sit with him and carry on, and every time I said, Dad, we need to change this, then that, we said, no, you just stick to my idea. So what's the point in me helping you? But there were times when Dad went to India and I changed a lot of the things, mainly. And I remember we had it's a letterpress printing, hand-fed, not even at that time in the 85 we had printing was very well established in Sri Lanka, but my dad was having letterpress, very old system, and typesetting by hand, and the types were old, worn-out types, and they were impressed. It was, and you proofreading, it takes time, and anyway, I changed all the types, I bought new types, and then when he came back, he was proofreading, and he said, wow, this is very quick to proofread. Did you do anything? And I said, no, we just changed some types. And he couldn't do much, and I think, and also from the farming side, Dad always wanted me to go and study medicine. That's an Indian, all Indian parents, medicine, you go and do engineering, not agriculture, veterinary medicine, that's on the side. And so I spent a lot of time on the land, and he didn't approve that. So there was a lot of battle between Dad and I. And also when I came to England and I ran a street food market, and the idea was to farm and do the street food market. And he asked me one day, what are you doing? I said, I cook, I make dosa at the street food. And he couldn't understand that I'm farming and bringing the food to the street. It was, and he said, if I had known that, I wouldn't have sent you to England. I would have sent you to India to learn cooking on the street. And so a lot of battle between that, but he's a wonderful man. He sent me everywhere, and grateful to him. Yeah.
Well, the advice there is for all of us that we send our parents to India for a holiday and we make the change on the farms that we want to make. Thank you. Molly?
I think one of the things that makes my dad just such an incredible dad, but such an incredible human, is he's so open to being challenged with anything that he does. I mean, we argue politics all the time, we argue about what we're doing on the farm all the time, but he never has this idea that his way is the only way. And I think that's made our relationship working together feel a lot easier, because it feels, ultimately it's his farm and it's his life, but it feels like a collaboration. It feels like something that we can grow and learn to do together. I'd say the one time where things maybe felt a little tense was when I decided to give up veterinary medicine. Even though Dad says, that my grandpa didn't like him going and studying agriculture, Dad didn't really like me giving up veterinary. And then when I went and did my master's, I went to Centre for Alternative Technology, he was like, oh, you did your undergraduate at University of Edinburgh and now you're at CAT, what is this? But I think over time, he just realized that was my natural process of change, and actually that it'd been completely inspired by him. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have 2 minutes left, so if you can promise me that the questions will be brief and the answers briefer, then I will take 1 and 2 in that order, please. So number 1.
Hi, I'm Louise. I'm a dairy farmer from Northern Ireland. I'm doing my placement this year with Don Meats. It's a beef processing company in Ireland. I was just wondering, have you done any work on educating farmers about the slaughter process? One thing I've learnt while on my placement is that animal welfare is the top priority right up until the animal's last moments, and I think it's made out to be a very high stress and a time for the animals, when in reality you know, there is a lot of precautions for their welfare taking the whole time, and I think if farmers knew more about that, it would put their mind at ease a wee bit more.
Molly, are you happy to quickly
Yes,
answer that
I'll give
one
a
for
quick
me?
fire answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's lovely, and I think obviously education is a big part of all of this. The farmers who come to us, it's less about, I guess, their concerns about their animals, but also their concerns about themselves and their own well-being. And I think perhaps even if they felt more comfortable about how the animals were treated during slaughter, it wouldn't necessarily take away the emotional strain that they feel in the whole process of raising animals that are destined for slaughter. And so when they come to us, we're just there to give them opportunities for change, give them opportunities to try and do something different. We're not necessarily there to tell them what is the right and wrong thing to do.
Apologies, we are out of time, so I promised to, but apologies, we are going to have to call that to a close. But can I just ask you to put your hands together, please, and to thank Molly and Kumar.
Thank you.